Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Clientology Daily Insights. I'm your host, Jeff Bourgeois. And before we jump in, I want to invite all of you to join the Clientology community. It is a free LinkedIn group where you can either visit the URL below or scan the QR code. And basically, we're a group of like minded professionals who truly care about building authentic communities and serving our dream clients. Topics will include things like in English, marketing, sales, and customer experiences, customer journey. So join us. It's free, there's no obligation. All we ask is that you bring your best attitude and you be willing to share and join the community. Today, I'm going to answer a question. And by the way, if you ask me a question, just be warned, it'll probably turn into a daily insight. Um, I don't do that to mock anyone. I don't do it to offend anyone. I just do it because usually, if somebody asks me a question, it's a good question. So I will never name names. I'll never share that you asked the question. But believe it or not, I do get this question a lot. And sometimes it's worded nicely, sometimes it's at the end of a joke. But the question I almost always get is why the Hawaiian shirts? So, full disclosure, I live in Edmonton, Alberta, and sometimes the weather is nice, sometimes the weather is cold. About 7, 8 months of the year, it is theoretically inappropriate to wear a Hawaiian shirt. So people ask me why I do it. My flippant answer is that I'm protesting winter, and this is how I tell Mother Nature what I think of winter. But really, truly, there's an actual answer, and Clientology is about transparency, so I wanted to share it. And what I don't want you to do is to watch this video, run away, and say, "Okay, I'm going to go buy Hawaiian shirts," because what works for me doesn't necessarily work for you. So, first of all, I will admit the Hawaiian shirts was an accident. I went on a business trip and I dutifully, put my suits in the bag. I worked with accountants, so my traditional garb was either gray or blue suits. I had a range of both. For whatever reason, the universe has decided that that's the color palette for accountants. So, as an accountant speaking to other accountants, that's what I would typically wear. Now, the problem was when I sat down with people, I usually wore golf shirts or Hawaiian shirts. And, I kept getting feedback that I'm surprised you're this casual, or I expected you to be more professional. Again, their disappointment in how I showed up. And the reality is, I expected people hired me because they hired me, not because of how I dressed. Anyways, long story short, I did a speaking gig and I packed my suits. And for some reason, the flight there, the suits got extra, extra crinkled. And I do not iron wool because to me, wool just does not smell nice when it's been ironed and wet. I leave it to the professionals. Anyways, I got there, my suits were really crumpled, and I had a choice, at 2 in the morning, run out and find somebody that would steam and press my suits, or I go with the clothes I had. And that particular trip, I had Hawaiian shirts and I had a couple of golf shirts. I chose the Hawaiian shirt. And so I showed up the next day dressed in my Hawaiian shirt, and there was a gentleman at the very back table. It was a big speaking event with tables set for like 8 people, and this individual took up an entire table by himself. So basically, he said to the room, "I'm important." But he had an Armani suit on. He was wearing a Rolex watch, and he had a matching leather briefcase and a matching leather computer bag. And he had his Financial Post or New York Times, whatever it was, just perfectly, the right level of crumpled under his arm. He was sitting there reading his newspaper. He had it up in front of him, and I came on stage, introduced myself, and he graciously, there's a certain level of disdain I can't imitate, but he flips the newspaper down so that he can see, and he looks over the newspaper, over his bifocals, and he actually harumphed very loudly, not quietly. He harumphed, and he said, "I don't effing have to listen to this clown." And I don't know if he thought he was being quiet or if he was just trying to get some attention. He said it very, very loudly, and the entire room, complete silence, awkward pause. And I looked at him. So for the record, never ever bother the guy with the microphone. I said, "I'm sorry, sir, we didn't hear you. Would you like to repeat that?" And he said, "I don't have to sit here and listen to this effing clown all day." And I said, "Okay, out of curiosity, what makes you think I'm an effing clown?" And he said, "Well, look at the way you're dressed. You're not professional." And I said, "Okay, obviously you care more about the packaging than you do about the message. If you don't want to be here today, I am going to extend an offer. I don't usually do this, but rather than have you sit here all day taking up space and complaining, I would rather give you your money back and ask that you leave." And he, longest storm out in history, he took a few minutes to pack up his stuff. Like, he made it known. He was mumbling, not so much under his breath. And basically, the fact that I wore a Hawaiian shirt probably ruined the man's week. I apologized to him. I said, "I'm sorry this offends you. I'm sorry I wasted your time. I wish you all the best." And while he was packing up, and I said, "If anybody else in the audience feels the same way, I encourage you to leave now, because the goal is for those who stay, we're going to have some fun, we're going to learn some stuff, and we're going to change how we see the world. So if you don't want to have some fun, if you don't want to change how you see the world, now is a good time to leave. Just put a little X next to your name at the sign up at the back. I will make sure you get a refund by the end of the day." And we had a couple people that actually got up and left. Not surprisingly, they were also wearing suits. And once they left, I just paused for a minute, and that could have ruined my day or it could have been a lesson. And I just said, you know, as he was leaving, and maybe this was mean, I asked everyone, I said, "Please give this gentleman a round of applause. His feedback is going to make your day much better, and we're going to tailor it just for you." So they applauded him as he stormed out, slammed the door. Again, don't mess with the person with the microphone. And after he left, we had an amazing day together. And what I realized was that the people who stayed truly wanted to hear my message. The people who left didn't care about my message, they cared about my appearance. And that moment, I stopped caring about the people who cared about appearance, and I put my heart and soul into the people who stayed and wanted to have fun and change their lives. So that's why I wear Hawaiian shirts. And what I realized was that I didn't end up dealing with people who say, "Oh, I thought you'd be more professional." People expect that I show up in Hawaiian shirts, and they expect that we're going to have a little bit of fun. So literally, the Hawaiian shirts accidentally became my brand. Now, as a little bonus for me, why I love the Hawaiian shirts, when I go to a conference, a lot of conferences, you see people in shades of gray or whatever it is, or t-shirts. When I go to a conference, if somebody's looking for me, after I've spoken, or they're trying to get a hold of me or connect with me, people can just say, "Go talk to the guy in the Hawaiian shirt." And I promise you, I stand out at most conferences. Now, from my point of view, I'm comfortable in my skin. I don't care how I appear. But for me personally, I find Hawaiian shirts a nice reminder of, holidays past and life on the beach. So for me personally, I'm more comfortable in a relaxing outfit. If somebody wants a more professional person, there are tons of stuffy people in suits out there, and also there's tons of fun people in suits out there. But if you're looking for somebody who is in a suit, this is not the place to stop. Clientology is fun, and it should be fun. So if you're not willing to have fun as you grow your business, keep moving. We're not the fit for you. I will not try to convince you to stop. So thanks for the listening to my rant, and I look forward to seeing you soon.